Hello everyone, I hope all is well. It's a joy for me to present my overview of my trip to Sweden. It was an excellent trip, I enjoyed it, met wonderful people, but most of all, learned so much from attending this conference. I'm not going to give you a ball by ball commentary on the conference, but I just want to give a commentary of Sweden and, of course, the wonderful landscape and infrastructure the city has. I started off in Orlando. Yes, it was some point traveling to Orlando, then from Orlando, of course, to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Frankfurt, from Frankfurt to, of course, Sweden. That was a journey indeed. It was indeed a journey. I watched movies. I slept. I hope no one heard me. And then it was Frankfurt. Frankfurt, I was in the duty-free shop looking around, just looking at the site because after all, I've never been to, of course, Germany. Yes, it was clean, wonderful. The toilets were outstandingly clean, and everyone seemed to be going on their journey. Yes, no problems with immigration or so, but it was okay. Got a newspaper, had no understanding of the language, but decided it was relevant based on what I saw. Then I was off again to Sweden. Arrived in Sweden, got off no problem, and then went into the hotel. The hotel is a beautiful space, overlooking, of course, a fun park. I thought I had a wonderful time just taking it all in. The rooms, of course, were gorgeous. I overlooked the landscape and also a section of the city, which I thought was good. I was very close to the transportation hub. That made it wonderful too. All these things were just happening and I was just feeling relaxed. I didn't drink too much coffee or tea, nor did I take anything from the refrigerator because that's an additional cost. And by the way, let me tell you, it was so expensive. When I look back on my credit card, yes, I had to use credit card for safety reasons. I realized that the cost of living in Sweden would have been very expensive. Mind you, when I go out, I believe that I should treat myself, and that's important. And that's a part of it. You know, it's always important to ensure that you take care of yourself. It's an experience. And I'm happy to be working with an institution that gives me that leverage to experience things. Hat off to the institution. Yes, I had to have dinner, so I met up with some of my colleagues and we went off to have some dinner at a wonderful place. Yes, it was very beautiful. I enjoyed just going up in the elevator and seeing the space and the place. It was beautiful. It's a wonderful area, I would say. I would go there again. To be honest, it just looked as if it was in a movie. You know these movies you watch sometimes? You're actually seeing it. And then I decided to take a walk. And of course use my Insta 365 and take some shots. Marvelous shots indeed. This is the hotel and of course a few other areas, and I was very close to, of course, the transportation hub. You can see there. I stayed in the city of Gothenburg, founded in 1621 by the king, and was established as a strategic port or city to boost Sweden's trade and naval presence on the west coast. It is a rich cultural city and it has so much to offer. As I walked the streets, I just enjoyed seeing the buildings, the architectural structures, and of course the canals. The transportation system was number one. I would say that you could just use your application, an app on the phone, to track if your vehicle is coming early or late. And of course, it's done in real time. The whole system was so easy. And of course, it was just wonderful to transit around the city itself. Now, I want to talk a little about, artificial intelligence in the space. Just for 2 minutes, no more. This trip brought me to the reality that Western societies could look at Sweden and other Scandinavian countries and European countries to adopt a compelling force for artificial intelligence. But let us trace back AI to where it started back in Sweden. Sweden has long cultivated a reputation for being global technological innovators, a distinction that now exceeds prominence in the field of artificial intelligence. So it was quite fitting that, of course, HCI, a global conference, would seek Sweden as a specific area to have its conference in 2025. While the global trajectory of AI experienced a period that could be classified as the AI winter, During this time, Sweden maintained an active role in AI research and development. Academic institutions across the country consistently engaged in the field, ensuring a continuous build-up of knowledge and enterprise. For instance, one university boasts over 5 decades of experience in AI education and research. The continuous development of foundational research and talent prevented a complete dormancy of AI during this period, positioning Sweden as a nation that was, of course, actively involved in AI. The long-standing commitment to foundational work is a significant factor in Sweden's present state of AI readiness and its capacity to be innovative. And as a result of this, AI is in every sector, from, of course, the trams, the trains, the buses, to road maintenance, to social services, to education, and more. AI is already embedded in many systems. And of course, they have a national policy connected to the European Union, of course. Now, I've given you the AI. Now, let's get back to the part of giving you the tour, because I'm sure I want to balance this one. Let's get back to the tour at this point. So, one afternoon, I decided to just take a stroll up to the museum, which was 10 minutes away from the hotel. And I wanted to see what it was all about. Paid money to get in and, of course, did not have an idea where I was going. But this museum is such a unique space. They call it a museum, but it's not really a museum, I would say, based on my traditional thought of a museum. Door greenery space that you could explore. There were birds, there were fish, and a lot of nature sort of things that you could just enjoy. I had to climb up steps. Here's, of course, a wonderful bird. People were just coming close to it, taking pictures. And of course, I kind of wondered. I wondered about my time really reflecting on early childhood education and how these outdoor situations enhance learning, engagement, retention, and of course, experience. Now, we are looking at technology as a means of engagement, but outdoor activities can also provide that too. They had a lab that had a real experiment going on for children. It's just wonderful seeing the interactive nature of this museum, they call it. It was a wonderful space. They had a mountain area, climbing area that children could climb and so forth. It was just naturally serene and calm, and you could see you and feel the humidity in that space. Yes, everything seemed to be out of this ordinary. Just imagine this space that you could take a student or a set of students and just explore. Yes, we wanted to go on a boat ride and it was very challenging. After all, we were at a conference and the last session finished at 5:30 and the boat was scheduled for 6 o'clock. We had that session down to the T. Luckily, one presenter was not able to present, which gave us a 15 minutes advantage. So as soon as the session was finished, I ran down the bathroom, couldn't even go back to my room, changed off and put on a shoes or course software and of course transformed. Some people were very impressed with that transformation. They seemed to have thought that I had it all planned out. But then it was a boat ride. It was the most scenic sort of view I've had in my entire life. Yes, indeed. I love water, you see. And when I saw the water and I saw the land and I saw the land formation, I was in awe. We had a big debate. About whether this was an island or so. One of my colleagues insisted it was an island, basically because it was surrounded by water and the boat was going to make a journey around the island, which was over 3 hours long. Yes, it was an extensive cruise, I would say. I had meatballs. I enjoyed the scenery. I looked around. I was downstairs. I was upstairs. I was just taking in the beauty of Sweden because I don't know if I'll ever be back here. Again, sometimes in education, you take time to relax because that's a part of the whole reflection part of it. Reflection of your learning, reflection of the day, and of course, they ended up talking about the conference event again. Yes, because that's the nature of academics. You see, always insisting on talking about something that is related to work. But still, we had a wonderful time. I just enjoyed the wonderful scenery, the water, and just the calmness of it all. But the thing about it, the weather changed. Yes, it got a bit colder, and some people ran inside because it was a bit warmer. Then, of course, after roughly several hours, it was somewhat time to go back in. And of course, we started out 6 o'clock and it was getting to 10 o'clock, a bit after 10 to be exact. And of course, we're coming back in. It was a beautiful sight. We saw the sunset. We saw various industries. We saw bridges. We saw landscapes. We saw open bridges that allowed us to pass. It was just awesome. Yes, I did enjoy this one. And I think overall, this was my longest on water apart from being on a cruise. It was excellent, and we had some wonderful people. They had worked hard the day and they just thought it was necessary to relax. Yeah, the day had practically gone well and we wanted to take another journey. So we jumped on a tram and we were off. Yes, off to see another location. But this time it would require us taking a tram and then taking a ferry. Now, in these places that you go, you find that transportation is rather easy. You can navigate your space, and what we wanted to do today was to visit Brännö. That's an island. I must say that I was interested in seeing what this had to offer. The ferry comes regularly and lets off passengers and take up passengers. Of course, again, you book your ticket online with your application on your phone and then you're ready to go. There's no scrutiny when you're going on, but make sure you have your app open. Yes, and these tickets are so smart that they refresh every time. So you can't take a screenshot of that ticket and hand it over. It's always refreshing. And that's also due to artificial intelligence at the back end. But this was a wonderful space, as you can see. Everything is well organized in the space, and you can see the beauty of this island or this place. Sweden is wonderful. And of course, they have a lot of safety regulations, part of the EU. Look at these houses, and we're saying there's also an AC unit. On this island, you're not allowed to drive cars. Pedestrians will stay on one side and motorcyclists or cyclists will be on the other. But you can see that the nature of this place is very environmental friendly. According to one person, a lot of snow falls on this area because there's no pollution here. It's just friendly and warm as it relates to the architectural structure, and everything seemed to be manicured. We took a little walk up a hill or two just to see the site, and I thought that was wonderful. Just taking in the present, the ambience, and just being outdoors without pollution. It's not like Florida or New York or one of these places, but it tells me that there's a peace of mind that I could envision myself having in this space. Not worrying about too much the hustle and bustle of a city, but just taking in the beauty of the countryside. If I had a house here, I would just sit out on the porch and just watch. But I thought about what happened when winter comes. How would I manage? But for me, having the internet and all, I should be alright. Having food, some tin soup, and of course, some Jamaican food, that's fine. So we saw this museum and we wanted to go in. It's just a bookstore, and we journeyed along. And I thought it was wonderful. It was opened up. It was a little closet-like bookstore, but I thought the concept was good. People can just come, leave a book, and pick up a book or do something else. I think they were not open at this point in time. Hence, we could not go into the main section. I must say that I thought it was just wonderful to have a situation like this, that people can just go, choose a book, and of course, once we were finished, we were back on the place, ready to go hunt for, of course, the wonderful cinnamon rolls. We were on a quest to find these cinnamon rolls that we had heard about, so we journeyed along. And as we journeyed along, we enjoyed just moving along, taking walking, enjoying the atmosphere, and just having a wonderful just time just moving along. I think it was wonderful to be able to navigate in a city because of the technology affordances that it had. So it was now time to really get the cinnamon rolls that we've been talking about. Here you can see we have to be very patient, we have to look because the tram runs on the direction of this up and down, and you have to be cautious how you're going around. Cars are driving, but it's so orderly. And it's so unique that transportation is either bicycle or a bike for some individuals. And it's just a calming atmosphere, not too much hustle and bustle, but it tells you that this place is really calm. Birds are out, but the sight and the scene in the city is wonderful. As I stated before, it has over 400 years of history embedded in the contours of its landscape. Now, if we look around, we will see we made a wrong turn. So we made movement towards our left. We have Burger King. We didn't want any burger. One member wanted burger, but we decided the best thing was to see where we could get our cinnamon rolls that we've heard about. These giant size cinnamon rolls. We're on a quest to find them today. And we are going to find them. That's what we were saying. Now, let me tell you this. Of all the things I've seen, I've never seen a cinnamon roll as big as this one. When a faculty member from my organization brought one to me, I was really astonished by the size. I think I did half and left half for, of course, to be dumped. But that is the size of it. I'm going to show you, so bear with me. So we walked around, and of course, we were trying to find that cinnamon roll. We were on a quest to find that cinnamon roll that we've heard so much about. And as we walked, we enjoyed the scenery too. We moved. We did a lot of walking. And of course, we ended up coming to a wonderful area that seemed to be vibrant. No cars around, just people walking, enjoying coffee and just taking in the warm tea. It was a summer day, right? Everyone walking around and enjoying themselves, people just feeling good. You can see there's no traffic here, and people are just walking around freely. No loud noise, as it is in the city. But I thought it was a good space that we were in. And of course, we have a wonderful navigator using the application of GPS. So here we have a brick layout area. There's no cars running up and down. People are enjoying themselves on bicycle, keeping themselves healthy. And we walked and we came up across, of course, a lot of places that were opened up now for people to have coffee, just relax and take it easy. And after much talk, we decided that this was a space that we were going to stop and maybe have our coffee. And it was just a few meters down. So as we journeyed along, we said, you know what? It is just looking wonderful. We're going to sit and have our coffee at some point. So as we navigated, I think someone at the top said it's around the corner. So we did a little bend here and we're going around. And I'm hoping that we'll soon reach. Yeah, we finally reached this place. And of course, this was the place that we thought was the original one. And we took a walk inside. Yes, looking at the menu before. Then I said, let us go in. I thought it was a real place that I have heard about. But when I went inside and looked, I said, you know what, I'm going to buy to take back to United States. There were the cinnamon rolls as big as your eyes can see. And you had, of course, apple tarts and pies. And I had an apple pie. Had an apple pie and just watched it and enjoyed the whole process. But these were huge, a lot of stuff to handle. So after we decided, we bought what we wanted, had our little time to eat our stuff, we then decided to move on a bit. So we ordered and we were on our way to enjoy our items. So the next stop we wanted to do, we really wanted to find some chocolate. And apparently we asked the man where we could find some chocolate, and he said, it's around the corner, you walk a bit and you'll see. So actually, after looking at these wonderful desserts, we said to ourselves, we can't take anymore, but we were just going to go and get our chocolate. So we went to the chocolate shop and we bought our chocolate. And of course, we bought a lot. I bought good chocolate, nice chocolate. And this shop is just filled with chocolates. And we decided to go back on the tram to our hotel. Now, imagine you bought your chocolate and you're at the bus stop. You take the tram, and then all of a sudden, you're asking me if I have your chocolate, only to be told, no, I don't. You check everyone else. You realize that the chocolate was left on the bus stop. So we had to, of course, get off that bus, take another bus up, and luckily, the chocolate was right there. Yes, those chocolates were very precious. But you know what? No one touched them. The bags of chocolate was there. So as I wrap up this, I must say that I enjoyed this journey. It was wonderful. It was a learning experience. And the issue of culture is so important. As you meet people around, you understand how people are so similar. But yet, in different spaces and based on different systems, people operate differently. Now, as we look across Europe, we see movements have changed over a period of time. But one thing that connects people together is the issue of we all need each other to live. That's how I see it. While some people might say, there are certain issues that should not happen in places, let us be reminded that no one can survive by themselves. We need each other to survive. And without each other, we would not have gotten back or chocolate across the road. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.